Some pains don't shout. They sit quietly in the chest, tightening the breath every time a certain name, place, or memory appears. We tell ourselves, I've moved on, but the body remembers. Welcome to the heart of connection. This episode is about forgiveness, not as erasing the past, but as loosening the invisible knot it tied around our hearts. Holding on to resentment feels protective at first. It says, if I don't forgive, I won't be hurt like this again. But over time, research shows that clinging to anger and bitterness keeps our stress elevated, feeding anxiety, depression, and even physical problems like poor sleep and high blood pressure. Forgiveness, by contrast, has been linked to lower stress, less anger and anxiety, reduced depression, and higher self esteem and hope. When people go through forgiveness interventions, studies find that their anger and distress drop and their mental health improves. In simple language, forgiveness doesn't say what happened was okay. It says, I no longer want this pain to run my life. Imagine a woman who carries a small stone in her pocket. Years ago, someone she trusted betrayed her. Words said in anger, promises broken. On the day it happened, she picked up a stone from the ground, closed her fist around it, and told herself, I won't forget. Days became months. The stone stayed. Whenever she felt that old hurt rise, she would squeeze it, as if holding onto the stone meant holding onto her dignity. But the stone grew heavier, not in weight, but in meaning. It colored new friendships with suspicion, made apologies hard to believe, and trust dangerous. One evening, sitting alone, she realized something quietly devastating. The person who hurt her no longer thought about that moment, but she did, every single day. The stone in her pocket was no longer a symbol of strength, it was a chain. Psychologists describe forgiveness as a process of slowly releasing anger, increasing empathy or understanding, and choosing a different relationship to the hurt. In one study, when people went through structured forgiveness therapy, their anger, anxiety, and depression decreased, while self esteem and hope for the future grew. In relationships, forgiveness can change how we act. Less punishment, fewer negative tactics, more effort to repair. And that shift in behavior is partly why forgiven relationships often feel more satisfying over time. Back to our story. The woman didn't suddenly feel warm or kind toward the one who hurt her, but she did feel tired, tired of carrying the stone. So one day, she walked to a river. She held the stone one last time and whispered, You don't get to live in my pocket anymore. Then she let it fall. The stone sank. The memory did not disappear, but her relationship to it began to change. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We replay what we said, what we didn't do, the ways we feel we failed people we loved. Research on self forgiveness shows that when people genuinely forgive themselves after a mistake, they often feel more motivated to improve and less likely to repeat harmful behavior. Self forgiveness isn't letting yourself off the hook, it's holding yourself accountable without permanent self hatred. Studies find that self forgiveness interventions can reduce shame, anxiety, depression, anger, and grief while increasing self esteem, hope, and meaning in life. Maybe the stone you carry has your own name carved into it. Forgiving yourself means saying, I did harm, and I will learn. I am more than this one chapter. And then slowly putting the stone down so you have two hands free to rebuild. Forgiveness is a journey, there is no deadline. But if you'd like to take one small step now, you might try this. Bring to mind one person or one version of yourself connected to a hurt you still carry. Notice where that pain lives in your body: throat, chest, stomach. Just notice. Silently say, This happened, it mattered, it hurt. Then, if and only if you feel ready, add, And I am open to being a little less ruled by this pain. That's it. No forced absolution, just a door, opened a crack. Over time, such small openings, supported by reflection, therapy, spiritual practice, or simple honest conversation, can turn into real freedom. Thank you for listening to Forgiveness and Freedom. Forgiveness does not rewrite what happened, it rewrites who you are in the presence of what happened. In our next episode, Compassion as Strength, we'll explore how softness and empathy can become a powerful way of living in a world that often confuses hardness with power. Until then, if you notice a stone in your pocket, hold it gently. One day, when you're ready, you may discover your hand can finally let it go.